Why do they do that?
God, what a whopper!
He often does a lot of these sort of stalls, doesn't he? Yeah.
You'd never think there'd be so many breeds, would you? Oh yeah.
She's got the little chestnut pony.
Golf Hotel November. This is the final call, Philip, because if not, it's going to be towed away in 5 minutes. Philip Hutton, Whiskey Foxtrot 66, Golf Hotel November. Vehicle to be moved now. Blue Hilux. If not, it will be towed away.
I suppose each one of these is these all look the same breed, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Like you see that often. Them quite often.
Hello.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh, yeah.
Whether you can see that, I don't know if you can because it's on the Why my son's giving me this flash That's one of my sons.
I don't know what the blow-up looks for. Whereabouts? Oh, you went in the floor.
Oh, right.
think it says
Quite low in the bottom, isn't it? To bring the Empire. There's landlord.
And now we've got the Eggersford, so if they would identify them, please. Identify themselves, the Eggersford. Now the Eggersford, they've got 16 and a half couples here today, and they've got a total of 38 couples in the kennels. The master is Jason Miles, and he is the master and the huntsman, so that means he has got total responsibility for looking after the hounds and hunting the hounds. And he's ably assisted by his assistant, who is the kennelman, which is Nathan Bowes. From this season, the hounds will be hunted by Jason, the master and the huntsman, and will be supported by Nathan, the kennelman, both of whom have recently moved to join the Eggersford from packs within Yorkshire. So we welcome them down here to the West Country, and being a member of Eggersford, I will support them totally. And here we go. The Eggersford hounds are typically half Old English, with some hounds being pure Old English, of which their breeding goes back to the Waterford foxhounds from Ireland. Typical horses suited the Eggersford country would be thoroughbred horses with plenty of bone, now known as modern sports horses. The hunt country, which extends some 90 miles. Nice lot of music, gents, please, please. Off you go, guys.
Isn't it?
I ask you just to note, ladies and gentlemen, there's 3 packs of hounds there. They're all intermingled. There's nobody falling out with anybody. And shortly you will see them all separated into their own packs without any nonsense. So a couple times around, guys, please, if you will. Here we go. What a sight to see, ladies and gentlemen. This is tradition.
He's having a crap. Look, that one.
We've got one lazy little Mike back here. Look at that. I'm going to have a look around. This is a social day. Yes, the food tent's here. Look, that suits me fine. There we are, guys and girls. Could I please ask if the hunt staff now will go to one particular corner and collect up the horses, and then if the master's huntsman will please will.
Look at that sight, isn't it lovely?
amazing.
Yeah.
If I just ask you to hold in the ring for a minute or two, guys, I've got to get access for you to go back through the horse classes.
That was well worth seeing.
Yeah.
Will they take that?
And this again is followed by yet another Sunbeam, a 2060 Tourer of 1926, owned by Mr. P. Wright. Now we have a Wolseley 450 of 1952, owned by David Child of Sprayton. This is followed by a Ford Morris 8 Model E. And that one dates from 1946. We now have a Ford Model T, which was the famous car built and designed by Henry Ford, which put motoring in the hands of the public. We now have an Armstrong Siddeley, which dates from 1924. Mr. L. Shipley from Sprayton with an MG Magnet dating from 1958. This is followed by a Ford Mark IV Executive of 1971, owned by Alan Gill. And then we have a Morris 1000 Traveller. '13 is a Ford Mark I Cortina from 1962, owned by M. Hall. We have an MG MT. 1953. This was the car was exported to America. This is followed by another MGTD, owned by Mr. Rippick. We now have a Jaguar E-Type. This is followed by MGB GT of 1969, owned by Mr. Colin Clark of Hatherley. Followed by an Austin Healey 3000 Mark I of 1961. This is followed in turn by a Porsche owned by Mr. Lovett of Surrey. This car was built in 1963. Number 24 is a Riley RMA of 1947, owned by Mr. Sean Millership. We now have the man who's let the side down. He normally comes on a Ferguson T20, but this time he's got a Triumph Stag.
Oh, that's the one there. The side down.
This is followed by a Fiat 500. And then we have a Mini Morris Mini Minor of 1960. This is followed by a Riley 1.5 owned by Mr. Finnimore. This car dates to 1958. Followed followed by an Austin A30 of 1955, owned Mr. Morey of Crediton.
They do look more elegant, the old cars.
MG Midget, dating to 1972, owned by Mr. Kingdon. Triumph Spitfire 1500 of 1977, owned by Mr. Kennison. A Singer estate, owned by S&C Blood of North Thornton. This is thought to be the only Singer estate still on the road. We now have a very early motorcycle, a 1912 Triumph, which has been in the same family since 1919. Still runs well, and Mr. Wheeler's brought it all the way down from Worcestershire. Is a Greaves Trials dating to 1965. G. Saunders with a Triumph Speed Twin, followed by 54. Followed by a Honda SD 202 of 1967. Martin Duckett from near Coventry with a James Commando dating to 1957. And 52 is a Trials bike owned by D. Sullivan of Dunsford dating to 1955. This is a Czechoslovakian. This is a Czechoslovakian bike. Ford Popular, owned by S. Hodgson of OKEHAMPTON, Ford 100E, built in 1959. Followed by the first Ferguson 135 of 1968. The Morris Oxford Tour, dating to 1927, owned by Mr. Calichan of Bideford. This is followed by a massive prairie tractor, which is a Massey Ferguson 4840, built in 1981. It's owned by Mr. J. Cole. Mr. Bartlett from Tavistock with a David Brown 885, built in 1973. R. Clark with a Triumph TR4, dating to 1962. This is followed by a couple of David Browns, David Brown Cropmasters. Following this is another type of David Brown, a later model, a David Brown 880. And this is followed by a grey and gold Ferguson FE35, which was the forerunner of the more familiar red and grey Massey Ferguson. Minneapolis Moline. Now we have a tractor very much in its working clothes. This is a David Brown winch tractor and thrashing tractor. Still used for winching occasionally. followed by another David Brown. This is Mr. Royal of Cullompton, a David Brown VAK 1A of 1947, forerunner of David Brown Cropmaster. Bill Peerless of Massey Ferguson 35, dating to 1961. Followed by a John Deere DR, old by Paul Tucker of Carrington. This one was built in 1938 and it's been in the same family from new. '22 is a Triumph Stag of 1977, owned by R. Morey of North Taunton. Colin Medlin from Carrington, Massey Harris 745, dating to 1955. This would have been the last type of tractor built under the Massey Harris name. The numbers are the sequence. I'm just being passed by a Reliant scimitar, but the numbers are the sequence. Sorry about that. 107 is a Field Marshal Series 3, owned by John Sanders of OKEHAMPTON. Followed by another Field Marshal Series 3, owned by Dudley Luxton, also of OKEHAMPTON. S. Dennis with a Nuffield 460. 1964. It's followed by quite a rare Massey Ferguson, owned by Bob Atter of Killern in Wiltshire. This is a French-built tractor, and there's thought to be out only 9 left in the country, in the world. Another John Deere VR, owned by Philip Uglow of Lifton. Massey Ferguson, but this time a 35X, which was an improved version of the 35, owned by Bill Peerless. '98, a John Deere 2850, built in 1988. Owned by T. Dennis of Inwardley. R. Jewel with a Ferguson TD20 of 1950. This one's complete with the original type of Ferguson lighting system. This is followed by a Wingate, which is a very small market garden type of tractor, owned by J. Dummett. This one was built in 1967. Followed by a John Deere 4020 of 1965, owned by P. Bragg of Crediton. Followed by yet another of Mr. Bragg's John Deeres, this time a Model L, which was the only John Deere to have a conventional type engine in those days. And this is followed by the forerunner of the modern John Deere, the Waterloo Boy. Sold in this country is the Overtime, an American-built tractor, obviously. And this tractor was imported from Canada. Next we have a Fordson E27N with a Perkins P6 conversion, owned by Mr. R. Funes. This tractor dates to 1948. This is followed by a standard Fordson owned by Richard Smallwood from Bridgestone in its original condition.
Dog is a more recent fitment. I said the dog is a more recent fitment.
He tells me the dog is a more recent addition. Next we have Mary Phillips with our Field Marshal Series 3A. Probably heard about Mary's experiences driving the length and breadth of the country collecting money for the air ambulance, for which she was awarded the BEA. Peter Trelevin with another Field Marshal Series 3. Followed by F. Trant of Bridgestone with a Field Marshal Series 1. 1946. '84 is a Nuffield M4 with a heavy-duty winch. This tractor was built in 1950 and owned by F. Mudge of Tavistock. Recently purchased it from a sale up country. Followed by Morris Retallick with a Ford 960 row crop tractor of 1955. This is an American tractor. '83 is a McCormick International 523 built in 1967, owned by A. Wager of Plymouth. Followed by one of John Martin's tractors, which is a John Deere 2130. And yet another of John's tractors, a PMC Nuffield. This was before they changed to the British Leyland colours of blue and white. Next we have another of John Martin's, a Ferguson T20, which has been in one family from new. S. Williams with a Fordson Major from 1953. P. Anstey with a Fordson Major E27 from 1947. J. Ireland from Winkley with another Fordson Major. This one was built in 1959. Michael Trant from Bridgestone with a very original E27 Fordson Major. Dates from 1947. Followed by another standard Fordson. This in fact was one of the Irish part Irish-built examples before Ford started production at Dagenham. This one's owned by Paul Blake of Okehampton. Following this is an Alice Chalmers B, owned by Bill Crocker of Brent Fuller. This one's got a Perkins diesel engine conversion. Yet another Fordson Major. This one is another 1959 example, owned by P. Stanbury of Inwoodley. J. Millership with a Fordson Super Dexter, 1961.
Here comes Al.
119 is Michael Coleman, Fordson Super Major from 1963. This is the last variation on the Major theme which Ford's built before they changed over to the new models. John Cooper from South Taunton, the Massey Ferguson 35X with a lot of extras added to it. '68 is Martin Beer from crediting the David Brown 1200 Selectomatic of 1969. This is followed by another Fordson Super Dexter, dating to 1964. International B275, owned by Mr. Beer. Next comes Bill Crocker with a Vineyard type Massey Ferguson 35, which is towing a machine designed to distribute dung heaps. In the days they used to pile heaps of dung in the field. Followed by David Brown 995, Mr. Ellicott of Tavistock. Mr. J. Druitt for the Fordson Major. Again, this is quite an early one, dating from 1953. '65 is a Massey Ferguson 135, built in 1971, owned by M. Druitt of Princetown. '93 is a Massey Harris 101 Super, built in 1940, owned by Bernie Jenkins. This is followed by a wheel horse garden tractor.
1968 wheel.
120 is a Ford Ferguson, one of the tractors built during the Second World War under the famous Henry Ford-Harry Ferguson handshake agreement, owned by Mr. Paul. Yet another Fordson Major. Owned by W. Robley. This is a 1956 example and still working for its living. 131 is an Army lightweight Land Rover owned by Horsley. This one dates to 1979. It's got the full kit with it. Followed by a Comer pickup of 1955 owned by J. Steer of Beerall. This was used to carry farm produce to Plymouth markets and various other jobs around the farm until about 1960 or so. Early Series 1 Land Rover, 1950, owned by Dr. Cripps. And yet another Comer. It's quite unusual to find two of these vehicles in the same area. That one was owned by Mr. G. Northam of Holdsworth, dates to 1954. Ladies and gentlemen, that looks as though everything that's going to enter the ring has done so. So I'd ask you all to give him a round of applause to show your appreciation for all the hard work and time it takes to restore these vehicles and keep them in good order.
Here today, and a lovely cow from Cornwall taking the championship from Roger Rundle, and the Quantix Bull Reserve champion. These are followed by the Solaires, and the Solaires champion and reserve champion this year go with Sophie Simmons, now living up at South Molton, but native of Dorset. And the dairy cows, the Holsteins, the most popular dairy cow in the United Kingdom. Their champion from the Lay family, and reserve champion comes from A&W Grigg & Sons. Behind the black and whites, the red and whites, the Ayrshires. The Ayrshires, the supreme champion, and the Coombe family also having reserve champion. And then behind them, any other dairy breeds, and the champion there, Rocket and Marshall with a Guernsey, and then the Lay family from Thubra, who have the Holstein champion, but they have the reserve any other dairy breed champion, which is a brown Swiss. And then our junior handlers.
Does she come here or go to Claire? Claire.
Ready to go in the ring, please. No, it's ring 3, 2 and 3. Change to ring 2 and 3. You know what you're saying? Oh, you've got the best.
That was a cow. That's a big cow.
I tried that.
And the only horse coming forward to be presented with a cup is for the best pony in the show, which has been won by Mr. and Mrs. J. Jordan of Gidley or Thraley.
All day. The next thing in the main ring here, in ring number 1, is the Terrier racing. Now, if you've never been subject to this before, it is great entertainment. Please feel free to bring little and large dogs. There is no demarcation between Terriers and Great Danes or whatever. It is called Terrier racing, but today, if you look at your pet and you say, I've got a pedigree so-and-so, I'm afraid it will be classed as a Terrier. So please make your way to the main ring, and we will sort you out best we can, and there will be entertainment not only for the participants but by everybody watching. So make your way please towards the main ring, and in a few minutes time you'll see the Terrier racing be set up. You can hear behind me there's a pack ready to go already, so please feel free. Once these beautiful sheep have left the ring, we will get that set up and off we'll go the next thing. We're running about 15 to 20 minutes behind schedule, but I think you'll agree it's worth it when you've got such beautiful stock, and prior to that the machinery, the parade of hounds. You're lucky to see so much, and it's a privilege to see it, and on such a beautiful day. So I hope you'll excuse us being a few minutes behind schedule, but very shortly the next attraction in the main ring will be Terrier racing. That'll be followed by a display of Dartmoor Hill ponies, and then there'll be the Pony Club mounted games, and that's followed this evening by tug of war. So in 4 exciting things, activity, things to see, the first one to participate in, and the 3 other ones to watch and thoroughly enjoy. So in a few minutes time, Terrier racing in the main ring.
There's a small case of lockjaw here, but unfortunately it's on the lure. Here we go. Keep it away from him.
Watch the flag. Full start, full start. Get your dogs, please. Full start. Full start. Bring your dogs back. You've got to watch the flag. Get your dogs back. We'll try that again. Dog to go until the flag goes. Watch the flag. Now watch the flag, not the lure, watch the flag. Ready, hold the flag, hold it. Hold it. Go, Ron, let's go! And the key let loose. Fantastic.
Roger Cunningham.
Okay, let's have the second group up.
Roger.
What?
It's just big dogs. I think it's just big dogs there. That's big dog there. No, there's no real love. Not really. Big dogs. And then everyone. Yeah.
I should keep it a bit further back if I were you. Right, we're going to get ready now, standing by. Wait for it to go. Wait for it to go. Hold on to your dogs. Hold on to your dogs. Not yet. Wait for the flag. Go on, big dogs. Go for it. Come on, guys. Go. Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic. 3 good races there. Well done, the dogs. Well done, the big dogs and the mediums. Now it's the Open Championship. This is Millie's inaugural race. Now watch the flag, since you haven't been in it before. Right. Now what you've got to do is watch the flag now, because that's the signal. Don't let him go till the flag goes. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Go! Come on! Well, there's a bit of a sense of lost direction somewhere along here. Well done, all the dogs, and only half well done.